Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the second edition of the football AD's Corner. We're got Coach Larson with me here again. Coach, thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you.
Very excited, right? Last time we were able to sit down and talk was preseason, right before your first game. I know things were rocking and rolling. You guys were ready to get on the field, but you were juggling a lot. Since then, we're at about the midpoint of the season, give or take a little bit, and 3 wins, two that we can put on the record with another preseason win to kick off the season. But how have things gone the first half of the season since the last time we met?
Everything's going along pretty well. We're just we keep on battling and grinding away, and working hard, continue to get culture taught and work on what we want to get accomplished.
Coach, what you and your staff and the boys have been able to do so far has been absolutely awesome, right? Being able, your first game here at Jerome Berg Field, able to get a huge win, right? So your first win as head coach, and huge win for the community. How did that feel, getting that first win when that last whistle blew on the first game?
Well, I mean, in this profession, in this game, you have so few opportunities per season. Your 10, 11 games that you get. So anytime you can leave the field successful, it's a good thing. From a coaching standpoint, you're always looking at what can we learn, what can we move on from the game. The guys, it was good to start off with a little success and get things moving in the right direction.
Yep, and then Coach, just a few weeks later, you had Farmers Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. And that was awesome as far as obviously the game and everything that was going on. What were your thoughts on your first Farmers Bowl here at Mayville State?
Well, I mean, one thing overall is just the community support, and the Grove Walk. That's a pretty cool little deal with everyone out there tailgating and having a good time, showing their support and showing their Comet pride. That's an exciting part of it, and then just all the activities that were going on during the week, and there was a lot of stuff. A lot of people were busy running around, a lot of things going on, and that's always exciting. That's one of the things that's exciting about college football at all levels, is everything that usually tends to follow a football season, and some of the a situation like Farmers Bowl, when you got a week's worth of activities and things to do, and guys are involved with all different kinds of things, and it was pretty exciting overall to be involved and finish off with the gun raffle. What was a pretty good way to finish off a good week. Absolutely,
it was an awesome weekend, and you guys really stamped that with a huge win for us. And one of the things I didn't get to see until a little bit before Farmers Bowl, but kudos to your assistant coaches on the Farmers Bowl video that they did. That if you haven't been able to see it, hit the social media pages for our football team. But just such a neat video that really embodied what Farmers Bowl is, and some influential members here in the community that really put a nice touch on it. So I believe that was a few of your assistant coaches. I was able to put that together.
Yeah, Coach Hart and Coach Levy put it together.
Okay.
Kind of put Coach Smith as kind of the director, make sure that he kind of oversees the projects of what's going on. But Coach Levy and Coach Hartman do all the legwork with the social media stuff.
Awesome.
And that's been a huge presence. I'm a novice social media guy.
You and me both.
So having people that are better with around social media is an important part of the staff.
They've done a phenomenal job with that. And Coach, I know it was a long trip up to Boston, out east to Boston, and taking on Division I program, and they're Division I, right? They're an NCAA Division I program, so you had that going up against you. But how was that trip? Do you feel the players got some camaraderie out of that trip? And what were some positives that came out of that trip?
Well, I think the positive is that anytime for me, I'm a guy that I like travel, because I like the routine of it. I like the that you're around the guys all the time. The guys are around each other all the time. So I think that's real positive, and the guys develop just a deeper relationship amongst each other, and because they are on the road, and they're just with their roommate and the rest of the team, and that's kind of everything's geared around the team. And so I think that we did develop some of that, and I know looking back at my time as a player, that's some of the stuff I remember the most is some of the road trips and that. So I know, I know the guys had a good time with that.
Yeah.
I also think that we all learned a valuable lesson about overcoming adversity with some of the circumstances we had with our arrival in Boston. We don't need to talk about that,
right.
Expand on that, but the guys saw that when issues come up, that you make a way or find a way, and that's really what we did to make sure we had the stuff that we needed to get going. And overall, like I said, I think that the positive of the trip is the fact that our guys got to spend a couple extra days just amongst the team.
Yeah. And I've asked a few community members, Coach. One of the nuggets I took out of that game is with Reese Hansen, who's been a nice little wide receiver, freshman, local boy for you, getting a touchdown in that game. And my question was, and if anybody knows, please shoot me an email or whatever it is. But when was the last time a local kid, as far as either Mayport CG or Portland High, years ago and things like that, when was the last time a Comet scored a touchdown against a Division I football program? So still waiting on that answer, but pretty cool for that as well. So glad it was a good trip and built camaraderie, even if a little bus situation was quite an issue, as you and I both know. I'm glad we were able to work together and work through that. So and then, Coach, you've coached a long time, right? And I'm sure you have big wins or plays and people that help you, allow you to do what you love and makes it all worthwhile. What was it like? I can tell you, and I've been here 15 months, as you know, but to get our first conference win in 3 years was awesome. I mean, I saw you at the printer the next day, and I was pretty fired up, right?
Right.
But not only to get a first conference win, which is obviously huge for this program, huge for you and your staff, the kids, the community, and things like that, but to be able to do it in your hometown that you didn't know when you'd be back there coaching again, right? Like, how was that? I mean, what a coincidence, right? I mean, that is absolutely awesome that you were able to endure that. I know you had some family there. Tell me how that made you feel and how that worked out.
I think, again, it's in the season. You get caught up with everything going in the season, and I'm sure that after the season, have a little bit more time to reflect on that rather than moving on to the next opponent and everything like that. Right. You got a short little 24-hour window to really enjoy the previous day, but it was exciting to go back and to not only just play a game in my hometown and in a field that wasn't even there the last time I was involved in a football game in Aberdeen, right. But that part was exciting, but really overall it was more basically a success for our guys.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, that the biggest concern for me is that our guys got some success and they saw some rewards that, hey, if you continue to follow the process, you continue to buy in, and continue to believe in the message that the staff has been putting forward and buying into the systems and the schemes and everything that we're working on, that in the end, you can come away successful. And that's what we did. And really, the way that we were able to finish things out really in the fourth quarter, but really kind of come out in the second half and play a really good half of football and finish it out was really special for those guys, and really to give us hopefully some momentum, pushing forward. But at the same time, we got right back in. Like you said, the next day we were at the copier, and we're already on to the next.
Yep.
We're on to the next.
Next week. Well, before we start talking about this week and a big game obviously coming up Saturday here at Drumberg Field, I want to talk to you a little bit. Some of the other things that's been really nice, and like I said, I haven't been here terribly long, but since I've been here, would be getting some players of the week. I believe Farmers Bowl weekend you swept those honors, and then you had another one in Portillo this past week with how he did at wide receiver. It's so nice seeing the transition, to just say it frankly, and those guys getting awarded. What does that do for their confidence, going into, and again, I don't want to talk about it yet, but going into the rest of the season and a big game the next week to be able to get some of those honors and see that the conference is recognizing them?
I think that's kind of what it does. It's just, I think at the time, maybe it's just a little bit of a justification for a job well done.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that the guys that have won those rewards are all, you know, humble enough to move on from that and not get caught up, because that's the worst thing you can do is focus too much on what you did the previous one when there's another one coming up right behind it. You know, but I think it's just one of those things that, you know, in any sport, you know, you work so hard to, you know, to basically go out and compete. Mm-hmm. And when you go out and compete and you do well, to get recognized across the conference, and really it's recognition from, you know, the media and the conference schools that you did a good job, is good for those guys. And I think it's a lot of them are like me, that you know, they'll enjoy the success of it, you know, more in November, December, when the season's all over, and you can really look back and reflect and down the line. But at the time, it's like a quick, all right,
turn around, let's
turn around, let's roll. But you know, it is good to get the recognition, and I think overall from a program standpoint, it's good for our program to get recognition as well.
Yeah, well deserved. And like I said, you guys are playing so tough, and it's so fun to watch, to be honest with you. But yeah, turning the page, and you know, that game at Presentation was a Saturday nighter, and Sunday's a day of rest, but not for Jeff Larson and his staff. And you guys were at it, you know, getting ready for Dickinson, and you know, they're a powerhouse program in the North Star, and they you know, made a little run last year in the national tournament, preseason top 25, preseason #1 in the conference, and that type of thing. And you know, we know Coach Stanton runs a great program and that they're a strong team. You know, what are you looking forward to for this weekend, as far as, you know, what are going to be the keys to be able to compete and hopefully come out with a W at Jerome Field?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that I look forward to is just the chance again to compete against a great program like Dickinson State.
Yeah.
You know, and when I was assistant coach at Black Hills, we got to play those guys, and it was always a real competitive game and an exciting game. And, you know, from what the program that Coach Biggio built to what Coach Stanton took over and is continuing that forward, I get nothing but respect for everything that those guys do. So it's looking forward to getting on the field and competing with a good team. And, you know, you watch them on film and, you know, and do our scouting stuff. And the one thing that sticks out more than anything, more than X's and O's, more than, you know, more than the Jimmies and the Joes, more than the personnel, is the fact that you see that they carry themselves with they carry themselves that they're going to win.
Yeah,
they expect to win. They're not on the field wanting to win. They expect to win, and that's how they've been able to hang in and win some games at the end of the game already this season. You know, and to get out there and compete is going to be an exciting time against a great program, and to put our guys out there against them. Now, as far as, you know, what is the keys? You know, I really think, you know, preach it all the time to our guys, but, you know, attention to detail, making sure that we're locked in with our schemes, locked in with our assignments, and we execute. You know, and we had a staff meeting this morning going through the same kind of thing. What are the keys? The keys is, you know, execution. We got to go out and we got to execute the game plan, and we got to continue to motor through that. The other part of it would be whenever you play a great team, you know, no matter what the situation is, there's going to be peaks and valleys in the game. There's going to be high points. There's going to be points where it gets a little bit down. And the hallmark of a program that's a good program is one that's able to basically, you know, fight through those valleys. You know, when the momentum shifts and it drops a little bit, are we, you know, can we, you know, pull ourselves through that and not let the valley just keep on sinking and pull ourselves out of it? And that's going to be a big challenge. You know, just a challenge that we can control, and we can control with our approach and attitude, and really focusing on the 1-0 mentality, that the most important play is the next play, and we move on to the next play. We'll review it at some point in time, but the most important thing is to move on to the next one and not get caught up on what just happened, as opposed to focusing on what will happen next.
Good stuff. Awesome. And I'll tell you, Coach, I've seen, you know, kids on campus this week, and they're fired up. You know, they're ready for a challenge. They're excited about it. And I was dropping my wife off. You know, she's a nurse here in town, at about, 6:15 this morning. And as soon as I dropped her off, you know, I saw the lights. I said, you know, it's Thursday. They're practicing this morning. And she said, well, I hear them, you know. So, you know, it sounds like, you know, that guys are fired up. I know you and your staff are, been working your butts off all week as you do every week to prepare for this one. So exciting. And, Saturday, 1 o'clock, Droneberg Field. Coach Larson's Comets will be taking on Dickinson State Blue Hawks. So, Coach, I really appreciate it. Is there anything you want to tell the community before this week and first half of the season?
No, we've just been excited about the support. It's good to get that. I think it's really good for all of our guys, but I think it also helps out with our distance guys to feel that, they are basically in a community that accepts them and a community that's going to get behind them. So I thank everybody for their support, and let's just keep on coming out. Let's keep rolling.
Absolutely. Coach, I appreciate taking the time. I know you're busy, and good luck Saturday.
You bet. Thank you.